from those who rigged it. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. And of course, good morning to the world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as ARPANET, created by We the People. We the People. And again, I repeat, We the People. Today we have a very important program. It's an alert. It's an alert, and I hope everyone is ready to receive. Anyway, folks, without further ado, let's throw it to the studio where we have El Señor Jacques Van Beber, and I think today is also Mayana.
Well, hi, Egberto. This is Mayana. How are you doing?
No, well, I guess it's Howard Reynolds. I thought today was Wednesday, but okay.
Yeah, she's on the way. She'll take over here shortly, but I do get to do my little stint here. It's Wednesday morning at the radio, the 11th of February, 2026, and we are here in our studio. And I was just watching Jack as he was operating the board here. He operates this board like a maestro, like a like a master operator here. I mean, just wow! I was sitting here going, I wonder if I look that good doing that.
Well, but it's the one and only Jack.
Well, it is.
Repetition helps.
Yeah. And you got, oh boy, I tell you what, we have your summary for today, and then we have a full page of wisdom. So I think we should get to that.
I love that. I love that. Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
All right. Today's program connects the dots between concentrated wealth, artificial intelligence, immigration enforcement, collapsing farm economics, corporate tax giveaways, and a congressional race that could redefine representation in Texas. When billionaires align with political power, when AI amplifies control, and when ICE expands detention infrastructure amid tariff-driven instability, democracy faces structural stress. At the same time, Senate Republicans shield corporate interests while working families absorb inflation and job insecurity. This is not a collection of isolated stories. It is a system in motion. And to that, I say another We the People here. When billionaires align with political power, what the people get is a battle with fascism, AI to replace jobs, a broken immigration policy that they don't want fixed because it serves the wealthy better broken. Immigration enforcement being used to build concentration camps, i.e. detention centers, here in Texas, in Hutchins, Texas, San Antonio, Baytown, El Paso, first detaining immigrants, causing farms to fail, closing construction companies and restaurants, and a general labor shortage, setting up a corporate takeover of family farms. After they're done with the immigrant, ICE will be turned into a Gestapo-like force, rounding up us lefties, protesters, dissenters, anti-fascists, us undesirables, we the people. Look, everything is going in the wrong direction. We the people must rise up, protest, demonstrate, change the political landscape, tax the wealthy, diminish corporate power, demand change to our economic system, turn the page, and put the guardrails back on capitalism, because what we are experiencing is unregulated capitalism run amok. We can't allow the billionaires to rule us. We, the people, must rule in a democracy that works for us all.
Well, I think
you nailed it.
Right on there. You're right on. I wanted to mention something here that Arnie was talking about, her guest. He says, Well, the ICE agents are now going around arresting people with absolutely no criminal record and not doing anything wrong other than being in the country without papers. And that's just a minor thing. that is
I
a
must see your papers.
That is a misdemeanor. Yes, we must see your papers.
No, we must see your papers.
Anyway,
It is.
they're letting the drug dealers and the cartels. It's a field day for them. The ICE
Yes.
agents are arresting innocent people. Oh, okay. So let's go for it.
Let's
It's
go
a
for it.
field
It's
day
crazy.
it's a field day for the cartels because they're not doing what they should be doing.
It's
And
a
that's-
shame.
We're not doing anything to work on the demand side of the drug problem.
Exactly.
We're not helping people in their lives. We're not making them secure anymore, and they're full of anxiety, and they turn to something to soothe that.
Yeah.
So we got to work on the demand side of the drug problem.
Yeah,
That
I
is
buy
the
stuff
magic.
off of Amazon that soothes me. So
Well, you know what is interesting, guys? The thing about it is, it's a lot cheaper than bombing Venezuela on false pretenses to take care of the drug problem here. It's a lot cheaper than putting tariffs, false tariffs on companies, or rather on countries, claiming that you're doing it because of drugs when you can just solve the problem here. But, what can we say? But anyway, folks. Let's get busy. Look, folks, welcome aboard. We've got Lisa Blair from Atlanta, Georgia. Eric from Kingwood, Texas, and in the house. It's never happening. Estadian, Terlin Talley, Sonia, and two others. It's never happening. Cheryl Elkin says the condition inside these concentration camps is horrific. As we have John A. as well, Phil Bin, Chuck Hobbs. We have so many folks on today. I can't hit everybody, but thank you all for being here. We have over 550 something folks on Substack. Interesting. Anyway, folks, check this out. This is an alert. This is an alert. We have been talking about a whole lot of stuff in a very disjointed manner. We have been speaking about the billionaires. We've been speaking about the media takeover. We've been speaking about ICE. We've been speaking about concentration camps. We've been speaking about immigrants, etc. I want to lay some foundations first. And this is very important because everything that's being done today is being done on false premises. I repeat, e.g., hello from Florida. And from Stores, Connecticut, it's never happening. I want to point this out. This is important. Everything being done is on false pretenses. Let's learn a few things first of all. We do not have an immigration problem. When we had millions of people on the border, that was a control problem, but it was not a problem not absorbable. I know it's hard for people to take this in because of how it was displayed on TV, with thousands of people marching up the Pan American Highway through Mexico to get to the United States. And it was crazy. Not anyone asking why were those people marching up the highway. Did conditions change to make them stop? No, we were working on the conditions to make them stop because a lot of the conditions that created those issues for them coming here were conditions imposed by our corporations in different economic sectors throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. You'd solve those problems. Let me just give a simple example. Let's take Haiti, the country we like to consider a basket case. Haiti, we changed rice policies with tariffs that were beneficial to our farmers in the United States. We killed the entire rice industry in Haiti. What do you think those people are going to do? They're going to try to come to better pastures. We can talk about what the fruit companies have done throughout Central America. We can talk about the territorial changes that occurred that brought farmers in from Guatemala. We can talk about all these issues that created those problems. When we talk about American corporations creating mini countries in different Central American areas and displacing people, That is what we're talking about that brought that. So you solve that. The other way to solve it, right, is to claim you're blocking the border and claiming that very few people are coming over the border. But what folks don't tell you is that that's just the southern border. We have the entire East Coast, the entire West Coast. And if you think displacement starts and stops at the frontera, the border with Mexico, you're wrong. People come in, people find ways to get here. That has never stopped. That will never stop. That they're not coming through Mexico is one thing, but they're still coming. Please don't be fooled by the lacking response by our media. The rest of the world that have been affected are still coming here. Número dos, you have to ask yourself, wait a minute, what is the problem really? Do we have all those criminals that they're talking about? No. Both legal immigrants and undocumented immigrants, they commit much less crime than the country as a whole, than the born Americans as a whole. That's another statement of fact which makes the narrative false. Third item, the undocumented workers that are working in America actually are extending the life of Social Security. Why? Because many of them take jobs, pay into Social Security, and I'm not just talking regular menial jobs. I'm talking about engineers, doctors, many undocumented ones. They come into this country, they pay Social Security, they can never, ever, ever get that back, which what that means is that Social Security is on more solid foundation because people that pay into it can't use it. So those are the statement of facts for immigration. Now, I said a couple of days ago that what I wanted to do is connect artificial intelligence, the Trump concentration camps, the tariffs, and all these other issues, the immigration attack, the creation of the Gestapo into one story, one thread. You know why? Because it is one thread. There is a thread that runs between billionaires making the turn to support Donald Trump and our media and what's occurring right now. And here is the story. I was shocked when I saw from Bill Gates. Well, I don't remember Bill Gates was on the stage, but when I saw all those billionaires lining the stage with Trump, I understand that they probably don't want to talk against Trump or anything like that, but to line the stage on his inauguration was shocking. But it should have been, we should have thought about that before, because when Bezos bought the Washington Post and the LA Times owned by another billionaire, and one of their first actions were to deny the editorial board their ability to endorse the candidate they thought was better, that should have told us a story. That should have told us the story. So we had it starting with billionaires not allowing their editorial boards the independence to endorse those who they thought were the best candidates. That's number one. That happened. Then we saw that these same billionaires started to query favors with the administration. They would turn their heads, both the Facebook, the social media companies, and all these other companies would query favors with this new administration. We saw the big law firms going and kneeling at this administration. So we saw that the industry itself, all sectors of the industry, start to appease the president. The president then goes ahead and claims that there is a a killing field out there. Immigrants are committing murders, and immigrants are killing your people. They're killing their cats, their dogs. They're doing all these bad things. All of you live in cities. All of you live in towns. All of you live in rural areas. Did you see it? I don't think anybody saw it. But that was the first pretext to create some independent army under the direct purview of the executive that doesn't follow the rules of the military, and it's a police force. It uses federalism. It uses the federal government to be able to go into any state, which means it doesn't have to follow the rules of locality of police officers, etc. Which means it can do all these things, right? Connection, folks. Stay with me because we are connected how all of this works together and what the outcome will be if we don't accept the alert and wake up. So we got now a created police force under the direct control of the president via his DHS department, which already is out of hand. Great. So now we've got a police force. We got the entanglement of the billionaires who are appeasing the president, controlling the social media, who are not only controlled, but the lawyers protecting the president when he needs lawyers to go to the Supreme Court for him, to the district courts, etc. Taken care of. Okay? That part's taken care of. The independent army. You throw the tariffs into the pot. You may look at the tariff as far as what is the real purpose of the tariffs? Is it solely to raise revenue, to pay back to the billionaires, to pay back for all those tax cuts, etc.? Because again, we are going to be collecting nearly $1 trillion or so in all these tariffs if they were to come to pass. Well, it has a secondary purpose as well. The secondary purpose is the destruction of the farms and the small farms and the destruction of small business. How so? Well, if you're a small business and I've interviewed and had some of them on for you guys to see, if you're a small business that buys glass out of China to build your product as the raw material for your product, what happens? Oh, wait a minute. There's 100% tariff on China, maybe now 40%, but your cost has just gone through the roof for the things that you used to sell, right? Your raw material cost has just doubled, maybe increased by 75%, or one of those things, right? Okay. Small businesses can't absorb that. Walmart, they would tell you initially that Walmart will not pass on those charges. Let's do a little bit of math here. If Walmart sells a bib for $5 and that bib costs them 20 cents, and by the way, look at some of the Chinese companies advertising on TikTok and Instagram. Some products that we see here sold for $10 were bought for 20 cents. Okay. Now, when you throw those tariffs on, Walmart doesn't tell you what the real increase in prices. I mean, they don't increase their prices immediately because they don't want you to know what their price points were. But for the small businesses that import other products that are closer in price to the imported price, they can't stay in business, and many are going out of business. And as small companies go out of business, you get the Walmartization, not of small towns, which is what has already happened in the United States, which means Walmart goes into a town, Walmart takes over, a big spot. They give them tax subsidies, everything else, and all the mom and pop stores close because none of them can compete with Walmart. That's not the only thing that occurs, but that's what occurs. Okay? So now small businesses go under and large and small farms go under. Agribusiness take over the farms, control the farms. There are our starving farmers, our farmers that are now looking for a job elsewhere. They can't get the job elsewhere. Why again? Why aren't they going to get jobs, and why are a lot of people going to be out of jobs? Oh, there's this magical thing that the billionaires have taken complete control of called AI. So we have AI that's controlling that is able to replace so much. Let me just give it. Look, as a small news outlet, journalist outlet, I can tell you that in the last 5 years, the throughput, the ability to write, the ability to do all these things all at once, the ability to get a transcript of what I'm talking about, processing that transcript to turn it into a cohesive document for all of you to see, a concentrated summary, etc., has been immense. Whereas I would have to hire a copy editor, etc., no longer no longer have to do that. So one person in this journalism studio with AI is doing the work of 3 to 5 people. And that is the kind of disruption AI is going to cause. And this disruption is not similar to the automation disruption that we had with robotics in the car industry and many other industry. This one is fundamental in the fact that it actually is at a point where people are replaced mentally. There were these robots did things physically. Now we have robots also with a thinking algorithm. That means these jobs are lost, many of them permanently. Now, for those who think, well, they'll find other jobs, no. What this means is that the humanity has reached the point. Humanity, a lot of people will want to hate AI. I don't. I love AI. Humanity has reached a point where we could actually take advantage of the spoils we created. AI is the composite knowledge of all of us. AI is the sum total of all our knowledge, everything that we have ever done, etc. What does that mean? AI should belong to whom? To all of us. Billionaires should never be allowed to control AI. Ever. Because AI is our doing. The engineers that created the algorithms to process all the databases in the world, all our messages in the world, all our stuff, it's all us. So how can you have control by a few billionaires doing this? Well, let me tell you. That is the essence of what we're going to talk about here. Because the disruption that's going to be created by AI and tariffs is the exact reason why the investment that many companies are making, the prison industrial complex, many are making that investment in the prison industrial complex not to lock up a whole bunch of brown and black people that are not from here. That is what has allowed them to build it without you all out there listening to me raising hell. That is only the pretext. The pretext to you is that we're building all these concentration camps, not for you. Don't worry about that. That is because we're taking the violent criminals, we're taking the thugs, we're taking those foreigners that are coming over here and killing those beautiful American people off the streets. That's who these gulags are for. But if that were true, which capitalist in their right mind, which capitalist in their right mind would invest in hardware, in cells, in computers, in all these things to build storage for people? And that's what I call them as well, storage for people all over the country. If it's only to deport the undocumented folks that are over here, and then eventually they'll be all gone, right? They'll be all gone. So that would be an investment that at most, all that stuff that's built lasted 3 or 4 years. That's not business. That's not capitalism. This is preparation. And your question is preparation for what? Okay, let's talk about that. This is where AI and tariffs and all of this come in. Ask yourself, why is it that we need an ICE as big and a CBP as big as they're building? As you deport more people, or as you get rid of supposedly all those undesirables. And by the way, there's not enough criminal undocumented workers to fill not one of those centers that'll hold 10,000 people. Okay, but we're building them, and we're building many of them. You gave them permission to build it under the pretext that they were going to be locking up those brown and black people from out of the country. You gave them the permission to do that. You gave them the permission to create and ice several $100 billion to create and ice away, aside from our great military, aside from our police force all around the country. This new entity that is across state, interstate entity called ICE, that there's no law that prevent them from occupying different parts within states. And again, now we have AI that's being disruptive, and tariffs that's being disruptive. Tariffs ensuring that a lot of small businesses fail, and as such, the employees of those small businesses and the employers themselves. AI, I explained just on my personal level how many people AI is able to replace, right? Now the affordability is great. What do you think happened in societies where you get this type of disruption? Look anywhere. What is happening in Haiti? What is happening when people they have no other choice? The ones who have mobility, the strong ones, they'll swim across oceans. They will walk thousands of miles to get to a promised land that allows them something. But you know who has never had that pain before? Americans. We have been the land of plenty. We have been the land that had all. Why we are a land of plenty is for another day, but we have been the land of plenty. I want you to think about this. What happens when you get this type of disruption? You want to feed your family. You want to take care of your family. You want to make sure to eat. You want to make sure to survive. And that is where crime rates soar. Crime rates soar. By default, it soars. And how does it soar? You start robbing stores for food. You do all these different things. And you don't get just a small number of people doing this now. Because remember, people are in pain. People are hurting. And all of us have that instinct maimed in our brains to survive, 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 survive. And that survival means doing what's necessary to take care of your family, etc. So we get disruption caused by AI, caused by tariffs, caused by all these things instituted by Trump and his billionaire masters. And of course, now that we are trying to survive, given that we indirectly, unknowingly, built the prisons that would lock us up when we are in survival mode, created the infrastructure, created the regime to lock us up when we do wrong, and then profit from it, that is the next stage. That next stage now is to have a police force large enough that will be reapportioned to now take care of law and order that is completely out of whack. So ICE becomes a new force ready and standing to use all those empty warehouses that are housing human beings and turning them into the worst possible concentration camp out of sight from those of us who were lucky enough to be a part of the AI, to survive AI, or be dependent on those who survived AI. And that's the full circle, folks. If you think for 1 minute, why is it that we are investing so much in all these warehouses for human beings? Why is it that we are investing so much in having a police force to go hunt non-existent people? That is the back in store for what occurs after the billionaire saga is there. So that's the alert. The question is, how do you prevent that? You've been warned. How do you prevent that? Look, first of all, we have to go into that mirror and first acknowledge that all of us are worthy. Number one. And you may look and say, what the hell are you talking about, Egberto? I know I'm worthy. I know that. No, you don't. Because if you believe in our current economic system and how it apportions wealth and income, we can only believe in that if we don't have self-worth. Because how the hell then do we allow billionaires to exist? Nobody on this planet can earn $1 billion. They can have it, they can steal it, but nobody can earn it. What we have designed is an economic system of extraction that allows people to take a piece of everybody's worth because they were innovative. Is Musk innovative? Hell no. Oh, Musk goes out and talk about space and he talks about Mars, and we have an incompetent media that goes out there and say, oh, he's a futuristic thinking leader. No, he's not. I mean, every engineer, every scientist that worked at both his electric company, his space company, SpaceX, Tesla, and all these places, all these people are the bits and pieces of genius. All of you, the bits and pieces of genius that come up with all those ideas. He's no visionary. You know what? They made a mistake and threw his code. I'm a coder as well. I write software, etc. Had a software company in the works before I gave up and said, let's do the right thing. He's not a very smart guy. Let's remember Doge. Doge was put into place supposedly to save money. And what was the things that he did? He got rid of USAID, alienating farmers too early, right? He could have kept USAID and still get rid of the farmers over time without it being a shock. But he wasn't forward thinking enough to see that what he was doing with USAID would actually slow down this process that I spoke about all earlier on. So again, talking about solutions, the first thing we have to do is accept self-worth. And the next thing that we have to do is to stop being gullible. Let me give a perfect example of gullibility. Would you pay somebody 30 cents on the dollar to pay your bills? In other words, if you have $1,000 bill and somebody say, hey, John, let me pay the bills for you. And to pay that bill for you, I'm going to charge you 30 cents on the dollar. So to pay that $1,000 bill, give me $1,300. You would say, are you crazy? But you have allowed insurance companies to tell you that a single payer system is socialism, which is a bad thing for them. But they will pay your healthcare bills by having investors collect billions of dollars, having CEOs collect hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, by having duplicated services, etc. And somehow, Even as we have seen over the last several decades, our healthcare plans go through the roof, but we're against single payer, but we're against Medicare for all. Mathematics. Mathematics says the only solution to healthcare is to have a single payer system because there's no intelligence in paying a bill, but we don't do that. We allow the insurance companies to gullibilize us. We are gullible to the insurance companies when they tell us, hey, we give you a choice. It is like a choice of which company you want to be your slave master. Because which company do you want to tell you which doctor you can use, which medicines you can take? A, B, or C. Ultimately, they're doing the same damn thing. They're controlling your life. So the first thing is we have to accept that we have worth. The second, I wrote an article that went viral about worth before. I'll look it up and post it again. And the second thing is we have to stop being gullible. And being gullible is to understand that this economic system was not designed for us. We were designed to be slaves of this economic system. Why? An employee is nothing more than an antiseptic slave. This is something that I say all of the times. Remember this. When I was a slave, I had to be clothed. When I was a slave, I had to be fed. When I was a slave, I had to be housed. When I was a slave, I had to be kept healthy because I was just property. I was just capital. Remember, in this economic system, the only thing that is important is capital and the owners of capital. From our inception, the only thing that was important was always capital, 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 capital. As a slave, I was capital and an expensive piece of capital. But you know what happened after that? We learned how to create an interesting other structure known as employees that don't profit from the business but just told what they're going to be paid. I don't have to clothe you. I don't have to feed you. I don't have to even insure you, though we do that as an incentive right now to some extent. But really, you are paying for your own insurance in the reduced salaries that you get. I don't have to do any of these things. And when you serve me no more, I get rid of you because you are no longer capital. You are a rentier. You are no longer capital. So this made the system even more efficient. So we have to understand, and after understanding our worth, we have to sell that. And how do we sell that? We the people. We the people. And what do I mean by that? Who has the most power in this country, the billionaire or we the people? It is we the people. But we have been told, we have been convinced that it's the rich people, the wealthy people that are actually the ones who know or have. Right? That is what we've been taught. We've been taught that. And that is where we have to deprogram ourselves. We are the ones who make things. We are the ones who create things. We are the ones who farm. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who do all these things. Why do we allow a concentrated few to take the spoils? Because they had the capital to invest in whatever company to do it when we are the ones doing it all. Why? So in order to prevent that path that I talk about with these concentration camp holding us after the disruption begins, what we have to do is take control now. And believe it or not, the electoral process still works. They're trying to disrupt that too, but when we overwhelmingly accept what our intellect is and honestly elect those who believe in the progressive mantra that talks about all these issues that I was talking about, then we'll make sure, first of all, we will castrate the billionaire. Because like I said before, There's nobody. There's no billionaire that has earned it. And if you believe a billionaire has earned it, that is still chains that need to be untangled from one's mind. Because again, everything that they have is based on what all of you out there do. So the first thing we have to do is have the payback. The trillions of dollars that we are paying. Look, folks, we are paying over $1 trillion in interest every single year and increasing. $1 trillion. When you pay your taxes, the first $1 trillion goes to wealthy people who got tax cuts, which caused the deficit, that why we had to borrow from them in the first place. This is us, guys. Think about this. We give them a tax break to loan us back the money that we will have to pay interest on, and right now the amount that interest costs is $1 trillion every single year. But it's worse, because now that we've upset China, now that we've upset the BRICS country, they have started to unload our paper, meaning the loans that they give us. The Americans are still buying the loans, and the Treasury is still doing some machinations. But us as a reserve currency is kind of running thin. That's for another day to talk about reserve currencies and all of this other kind of stuff. But the bottom line is we have to take control. Electing the right progressives in office, people that are believe unabashedly that this system, as it stands today, harms us more than anything else. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you, we can do it. Phones are open. 713-526-5738. Anybody has any commentary? Would love to hear it. Una vez más lo voy a repetir. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. To our immigrant brothers and sisters, of which, by the way, I'm an immigrant, though a documented one. We are the scapegoats that are going to be used to destroy the fabric of what America is supposed to be. Imagine that. They are accusing many of the undocumented workers. They are accusing one of the workers, or rather, they are accusing folks, and they are using us. They are using us, the immigrants, documented and undocumented, to destroy the fabric of America. Now smoke that, folks. 713-526-5738. It seems like we have a call. Let's go to Jimmy. Come on in, Jimmy.
Hi, Berto. Last night, Stephen Colbert had a governor on his show. I believe the governor of Pennsylvania, but he was really hot on Trump taking over this country. He said, we've got to stop this now. We have to get rid of ICE. It needs to be shut down now. And he was very, very strong about getting rid of ICE. ICE is like our Nazis. And Germany had the Nazis, and we have ICE. They need to be totally shut down. They're breaking all kinds of laws. And then Jimmy Kimmel was also on, and he was talking about how Trump was telling Canada that if China takes over, they're going to shut down your ice hockey. He said,
Yeah.
he said, why the hell would they want to shut down your ice hockey? It was a lot of crazy nonsense coming out of Trump. But I know a lady from Canada. She said Canada's not going to be back with the U.S. for her lifetime. This is a really...
You're right about it. Hey, Jimmy, a few weeks ago, I don't know if you remember the show that we had where I said Carney. Carney has changed. Carney is now the leader, not economically, but the moral leader of the Western world. But look, I got calls coming in, Jimmy. Thank you for that. Let's talk tomorrow. I need to go to Uju. So thank you, brother Jimmy. We'll talk tomorrow. All right, let's go. Uju, come on in.
you hear me?
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone has an amazing hump day. I just wanted to call in to make again, just to make everyone aware who's listening or whoever's on the chat. We have to think of ourselves as the new founders of a new republic, because whatever we had is gone. So anybody who still thinks that we're going to go back to the old way, no, it's gone. So I think everybody just has to essentially awaken to the new reality. And in thinking of what the new republic looks like, we also have to imagine what system is going to work. Education, I think, is very important. Everybody wants to throw out the, buzzwords like socialism and communism and capitalism, but I feel like a true society that is actually true to its people is going to figure out different aspects of whatever system that we currently have to try to incorporate it into something that is fair and works for everyone. Case in point, I feel like our current capitalistic system, which don't get me wrong, I'm all for capitalism, but I'm also a human being, and I feel the current system we have right now is not humane. Case in point, Tariff did this interview with some guy running down here running for governor. So he's I guess a Republican or whatever they're calling themselves nowadays. And he's sitting here talking about how essentially blaming immigrants, saying that white men are the most, racism exists for white men, this, that, and the third, using buzzwords. So
Right.
Tara did a good job, and she said, how have you as a white man actually been hurt by DEI? How have you personally? So he's giving statutes, no, give me you. And he finally admitted, right, get this, he finally admitted that what really, I guess, radicalized him was after the earthquake in Haiti in 2010 or whatever that time was, his family ran a very successful landscaping business, him and because he said other white businesses just experienced that.
Hey,
And when
Uju,
that
speed it up for me. Speed it up for me, because we got a lot of calls in short time. Yeah.
Yeah. So when when Haitian people were displaced, they all were able to come here to Florida, and that put his family out of business, and he had to go on food stamps. So in that moment, I realized capitalism worked for you because you were cushioning and you were thriving off of it. But the minute the same system literally upended your life, instead
Then
of actually wondering how can we actually better this, and then he ends up demonizing immigrants. So
Exactly.
I feel like, anyway, to summarize it, we need a better system that is going to be humane, because even though you are comfortable right now, it's going to come for you. It always comes for everybody. But that's all I have to say. Bye.
Thank you, sis. It's not called capitalism. It is called free enterprise with strong safety net. Capitalism is where capital has command. Richard, line 2. I'm going to have to hold it down to like a minute, guys. Okay, let's go to Betty, line 1. Come on in, Betty.
Hi, Berto. Good morning.
Good morning, beautiful. And thank you very much for your support, Betty. Before you start, I want to thank you so kindly for your support. You are a wonderful woman. Continue, sis.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I don't know what. Thank you. On the AI and the invention is always to blame, Alberto. From hydraulics to electronics, it always takes job. Well, you had 3 men working. One, it only takes one now. Companies love it. AI now, companies love it the same way too. But it's a now thing, and we're going through it. I will say to we the people have to get close and precise and leave no room for it to get in the wrong hands, Alberto. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Love you, girl. You're absolutely right. Let's go to Terry. Come on in, Terry.
Hi, Alberto. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Can you hear me? Doing all right. So my thing is President Trump, the reason he's doing all this stuff is to get revenge on all of us who did not vote for him. And he has no desire to leave office. That's why he's recreating the Kennedy Center and the fantastic ballroom.
Hmm. Well, let me tell you, he probably doesn't want to leave office. But I don't even think my thing is I don't want to give any of these unconstitutional things that he is doing plausibility, because once you give it plausibility, you give it you make people believe it can happen, and if they start to believe it can happen, when it happens, they do nothing about it. So what I'm saying is, oh no,
Yeah.
we're not going to allow any of that. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about the common thread is Trump may want a whole lot of things, but I'm less concerned about Trump, Terry, than I am for the other people that are behind Trump, because they know what they want. Trump is just an
Yeah.
imbecile, but they know what they want. Thank you very much, Terry, for your call. I got one more call I got to get to, okay? Let's go to Derek. Come on in, Derek.
Good morning, Alberto. That was very powerful what you were saying this morning. You know, every nation has its appointed term. I have to ask everyone, are you prepared for the fall of America? The human mind is very powerful. My question to all of you, can you see in your mind's eye a manifest future for America? If you can't, then then it means that it does not exist. One of the signs is when a government, one of the signs of a fall of a government is when it starts attacking its own citizens. I remember as a child watching a cartoon where a sheepdog and a coyote was punching into a time clock. Then Roberto, when 5 o'clock came, they spoke to each other and then they went on about their way. Look at yourself, America. These people that works for ICE, some of them is actually your neighbors.
Yep.
And you all fight all day long, and then at the end of the day, what do people do? They go home to rest, then they go out and act the damn fool the next day. That's all I call say there, brother.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Derek. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Folks, when it comes to our economic system, every economic system has a mathematical formula that governs it, right? The current mathematical formula that governs our form of capitalism is unsustainable. If you take a look at how it moves money, which is all the way up to the top, it's not an accident. It is by design. It's the formula. And I've given that formula a few times in several of the articles that we've written and also placed on TV. We'll go over that another time. But let's go to Mayana, who wants to say something. Mayana, come on in. Okay.
About
All right.
did you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I just liked a lot of what you had to say about the tariffs and how that went into the small businesses and the farms and us losing all of that, and drawing that into how we do that like in other countries where we replace the government and then have like embargoes where we economically starve people out. And the same thing is going to happen here, or it seems to be happening here, where the billionaires are taking over. They pretend they're giving us charity, but they're not giving us charity as well because they're getting that money back. Meanwhile, we are being starved out and manipulated, and we're ruled by people who are essayists and who are degrading black people, and MAGA, wanting to get America back. It's like, yeah, you're getting America back. You're getting it back to what it was, and the poor are going to be fighting each other, and the non-colored poor are, going to, like, if they're going to make them feel as if it's more than other people, which is what's happening now with, like, the immigrants. And when that happens, all we're going to do is to be fighting against each other, and we're all poor, and they have all the control, and we're shopping at, what do you call them, corporations, because all the small businesses, all the small farmers, all of that is gone. We are gone because we're being taken into those warehouses, etc. I have it all written down, but it's so hard to say and try to keep it short, which is what I'm trying to do. So,
well, let me just
but I'm
say
just
this.
saying, like, I like all the connections you make, but we have to be really careful because right now the people that are in rural are people who are abusing people, and like children. I want to say that right without saying it to mess up the airwaves, you know?
I hear you. Let me just say this, folks.
I can't.
Mayana is right, first of all, but let me say something very important. That proves that these billionaires aren't that smart anyway. To believe that you can cripple society with the way AI and tariffs would do it and don't have alternative structures, meaning, let me tell you the alternative structures, a 10-hour work week, childcare and all of that. Since we have gotten to the point where we have allowed very intelligent machines to do our work, in effect, all of us having the ability to have servants, the fact that the people who control these technologies, which should really be us, don't say, oh, if all these technologies can do these things, we can have a 10-hour work week. We can, and 10-hour work week don't mean 10 hours. It means maybe you work 3 months on, 3 months off, or some interesting scenario, right? Give us the leisure that we all want, the leisure we all strive for. That they think by just holding it all onto them, who can spend $1 billion anyway? But holding it all up and having the other people live in despair, that somehow they can ultimately survive that, shows you that they're not themselves very smart, because they're looking at a chaos that ultimately will as well get them. But we are coming close to the end, so I'll give Jack a little final word.
Hey, Egberto, if the people want change, the people must change themselves. Reject consumer consumption. Your new truck or iPhone will not be of any comfort when you can't find a job to feed your family, when you fall victim to the for-profit gulag prisons. The billionaires have and are building an economy for themselves, and they're preparing to eliminate waste. You, the people. That'll have to be it.
Thank you, brother. Is Howard want to add anything to that?
No.
All right. Anyway, folks, look, I want to thank all of you for listening. Remember, you can reach me at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. The rest of the program is there, including the interview with the congressman that I was supposed to have on today, but this kind of got too interesting. You can write me directly, email me directly, kpft@politicsdoneright.com, kpft@politicsdoneright.com. Look, folks, love you all from the depths of my heart. Everybody, even MAGA folks, because we're going to all have to work together to make this change. All right? We've got to do it to make this change. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government by-in for the people. We have important state updates on proof of citizenship legislation in New Hampshire and Florida, and a bill in Virginia to keep eligible voters from being disenfranchised during purges